Welcome to this week's edition of Flashback Friday, your opportunity to get some good review by listening to episodes from the past that Jason has handpicked to help you today in the present and propel you into the future. Enjoy.
Speakers, publishers, consultants, coaches, and info marketers unite. The Speaking of Wealth show is your roadmap to success and significance. Learn the latest tools, technologies, and tactics to get more bookings, sell more products, and attract more clients. If you're looking to increase your direct response sales, create a big-time personal brand, and become the go-to guru, the Speaking of Wealth show is for you. Here's your host, Jason Hartman.
Welcome to the Speaking of Wealth show. This is your host, Jason Hartman, where we discuss profit strategies for speakers, publishers, authors, consultants, coaches, info marketers, and just go over a whole bunch of exciting things that you can use to increase your business, to make your business more successful and more passive and more automated and more scalable. So we will be back with a great interview. Be sure to visit us at speakingofwealth.com. You can take advantage of our blog, subscribe to the RSS feed, and many other resources for free at speakingofwealth.com. And we will be back with a great interview for you in less than 60 seconds.
Here's your chance to catch up on all of those Creating Wealth shows that you've missed. There's a 3-book set with shows 1 through 60, all digital download. You save $94 by buying this 3-book set. Go ahead and get these advanced strategies for wealth creation. For more details, go to jasonhartman.com.
It's my pleasure to welcome Nick Unsworth to the show. He is CEO of Life on Fire, and he is a Facebook marketing expert coming to us today from beautiful San Diego, California. Nick, welcome. How are you doing?
I am doing great, man. And, it is sunny and it is beautiful out here. Blue sky, and I think there's like one cloud in the corner.
Fantastic. Well, you certainly pay enough for it there.
Yeah, very true. True.
Well, hey, Facebook advertising really seems to be just a very hot topic nowadays. Google ads, not so much anymore. The action seems to really be in the Facebook arena. Tell us a little bit about it and what parts of it you really like nowadays.
Absolutely. And I think that, you're absolutely right that Facebook advertising, this has been, I've been doing this for about 5 years, and it's been explosive growth in our businesses and for our clients because Facebook advertising, it's that sweet spot, right? So it's kind of like, there was a time where if you were doing SEO on Google or AdWords on Google, there was that point at which it's just, it's like buying media through that network is a bargain. So right now, Facebook advertising the traffic is inexpensive. Now, 2 years from now, it may cost 3 times as much, and you may not be able to put in $1,000 and get $10,000 back out like we're doing for many of our clients. So it's really hot right now. The great thing is that we're finding that it's working in quite a few different niches. So we're absolutely crushing it in information marketing working with coaches or people that are, whether you're building a podcast or you're building an information marketing business or you're a coach or a guru, anyone that is teaching something or building an expert or a personal brand, it is absolutely phenomenal. Even fitness professionals, local businesses, corporations. I find that the only niche that I have a hard time with is physical products because on Facebook we need to build rapport first. And once you build rapport and you connect with them as a person, then we're finding that, from that, process, you can it's relatively easy to then take that person, you have them opt in, give them your email address, and then add some value for them. And then at that point, typically sell them something a little bit further down the sales cycle.
So what areas are hot for Facebook? What types of products, I should say? Digital products, not physical products, but any particular verticals there?
Yeah, so as far as verticals go, health and fitness is phenomenal. Teaching folks about, how to build a business is a great niche. Anything in real estate is really, really hot. Dating and relationships is absolutely incredible market, to be in. So it's a pretty wide, vast, range. Real estate is great. It's just physical. If you're selling a service or, you're selling information or coaching, it's phenomenal. If you're selling necklaces or you're selling jewelry, I mean, that physical products are going to be a little bit more challenging.
So pretty much wide open then, as long as it's not physical products. Now, what's the problem with physical products? Just the delivery issue and the cost scalability issue, or does it somehow not translate as well on Facebook?
Yeah, so here's the thing, like the biggest factor with Facebook advertising is it's about building relationships with your ideal target market prospects. So basically what we call it is a Facebook marketing funnel. And all that means is you're going to run an ad on Facebook, and then what is the ad going to go to, right? So you want your ad to be something that is going to point them to, we call it a landing page, it could be a squeeze page, but it's going to be a website page that gives you an opportunity to collect their email address. So you have to kind of go in those baby steps. If you go from an ad on Facebook to, hey, buy my ticket to my event coming up in April, it's flat out not going to work. No matter how confident the company is, no matter how cool they think their event is, it literally never, ever, it doesn't cash flow is the point. So basically, you want to go from a Facebook ad to a landing page. And the landing page, what we want to have there going on is, I refer to it as a lead magnet. So you want to be solving the problem, right? So if you're in health and fitness, you might want to target women that are engaged because you know they're going to get married. You know that it's their dream to fit into that dress and look the best they've ever looked in their entire life, right? So whether they're looking for the sun-kissed glow and juicing and this and that, or they want to shave 10 pounds off, that market is a hot market for someone in the health and fitness because there's a need and they have a problem. And then so a lead magnet for a fitness professional might be, here's my, lose 10 pounds in 30 days free video training that walks you through my 7 steps, right, and how to do that. And so what's cool, so what you want to do is you want to have your ad, you want to target very narrowly to that perfect ideal target market, and then when they see your ad in either their news feed or picture Facebook on the right-hand side, and they click on it, you want it to be something that is you're solving the problem. It's a lead magnet, and when they click on it, they're going to enter their information to get this, right? So this might be a webinar where you're going to teach them something live. It might be a video training. It could be a PDF report, but you're going to give them something of value that's going to help them solve the problem, make their life better, whatever that may be for your niche. And so the reason that the purpose behind that entire funnel is it really is just about building rapport. It's no different than, me and Jason meet for the first time and we're, mutual friends and we're at a bar or something. It's like, I'm not going to try and, sell him something. He's not going to try and sell me something. So we have to we got to walk before we run.
You got to warm up the relationship, date before you're
married.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Exactly.
Makes sense. So talk to us about engaging with Facebook. We talked a little bit about the offer and, maybe the baby steps to it. And that all makes perfect sense, by the way. But let's talk about how you use Facebook. And one of the questions I really want to ask you, and of course there are other parts of Facebook advertising, but one thing that's relatively new, is my understanding, is where a marketer or a company, any business, they may already have an email list where they're dripping emails out, newsletters, whatever, to their followers. And, for example, one of my companies, we have a list of about 51,000, on our email database. And I hear now that you can actually upload that list to Facebook rather than coming to Facebook and saying, hey, this is who I want to hit. And they tell you, well, this is how many people we can find in San Diego, California that are interested in bicycles, et cetera, right?
Sure.
Here you take your own list and you give it to them, which I'm sure the data mining people just love. We got people providing our list to Facebook, but how does that work?
Yeah, so and this is a great topic because there's a couple things I want to just throw out there before I drill down into this. So basically, if you think about on Facebook, when you're running your ad, the most important metric, right? Everything we teach, everything we do, it all revolves around what's called click-through rate. So click-through rate just means how many people are seeing your actual ad on Facebook versus how many people are physically clicking on it. And what happens is that when your click-through rate is high, Facebook will automatically completely drop your cost per click. So all that means, if we just make it as simple as possible, is the more engaging your ad is and the more people want to click on it, your ad costs are going to be way lower, right? So it kind of is the opposite of common sense. But what happens is that That one metric means, we can consistently spend a fraction of what our competitors spend because we put up ads that are people smiling. We put up things on Facebook that are going to get people to interact. And the reason I bring that up is because, Jason, for what you mentioned, you're referring to a custom audience. So the great thing is that if you already have 51,000 people, then that custom audience, they already know you. So the fact that you put your face in a big smile or, doing something fun, whether if it's a real estate niche or whatever that is, you in front of a house, home that you just sold or flipped or whatever that may be. The cool thing is that they know you, so they're more likely to want to interact with your ad because there's some level of a relationship. So therefore, your click-through rate is going to be a little higher. So you might actually even have lower ad costs running that to your own network anyway. And so, part of it is another factor is that advertising on Facebook, we want to, one of the beauties behind it is that you can be seen anywhere. It's kind of like if you're, a local business, you walk into the Chamber of Commerce meeting, you want people to walk up and think you're a celebrity, right? You want them to walk up and be like, man, Nick, I see you everywhere. You go to a big event like Traffic and Conversion, you go to a party and it's like, man, Jason, I see you all over the place, man. Looks like things are good. Now, that creates perception, that creates branding, that creates authority, and most importantly, that creates buyers. So the whole thing is that you might email your 51,000 people, but if they also see you on Facebook, and on top of that, maybe you use Google retargeting or remarketing, and now they're going to see you, throughout the Google network on various websites like Pandora and other sites. Then people start to create this perception like, wow, Jason, you are crushing, man. Like I saw you on Pandora, I saw you on Facebook, and then I saw you in my inbox on Tuesday. So it's really powerful to get from multiple spots.
So, Nick, that definitely makes sense. You have to hit people on a lot of mediums, and the impression is very powerful to the consumer, to your audience. But tell us what one does. How do we upload our list to Facebook? And besides sending directly to that list, but through Facebook and increasing our click-through rate, as you discussed, because those people obviously are familiar with us already, and they're going to be curious what they see us for on Facebook. Does Facebook provide any information to us about our list? Like, do we get more details about it once we upload it to them? Yeah.
So there's some really, really exciting things, coming down the pipe with Facebook. So Facebook has all kinds of thousands of variations of data. I mean, just imagine all the information that you have on your profile.
It's
imagine
ridiculous. It's scary. Yeah.
And think about all those little, you might be on a random website and click the like button. But what's so interesting, that like button, because it's based on Facebook's platform, right, that data can still be tracked back to one individual user. So every time we click like, we're actually compiling data for Facebook. And the reason Facebook cares about the data is actually, of course, it's for advertising. So it allows marketers like us to come in and be able to drill down on a very tight-knit demographic. And that's what makes it special. TV was so broad. It was so broad and so inefficient where now you can market to exactly who you want to, and you can stretch your ad dollars. So how you actually do that with the custom audience, as it's called, is you can use a tool called the Power Editor. It's an app that you install into Chrome. You could, probably the easiest way to, this gets a little techie, but probably the easiest way to describe it is just to go to Google and just type in Facebook Power Editor. Very simple to install into your browser, and then you can upload your email list. Now, the cool thing is that when you do that, you can then import that into the Facebook Ad Manager. And the interesting thing is that they're now starting to not only allow you to market to them, but by querying those actual email addresses. Now, here's the thing is that you might have 51,000 email addresses, but it's only going to pull the people that's the email address that's associated with their Facebook profile.
Right. Yeah. So you're going to lose some.
30, yeah. You're going to lose some. And realistically, you're going to get a little more than half. So you might have, let's just call it 30,000. But those 30,000, what's nice is that they're now starting to be able to pull not only the data to market to them, but to be able to actually compile some information, the information that you could typically have in the ad manager. So some of the demographic information, that kind of stuff, which can be very valuable to get to know who your own audience is. Because if you looked at your 30,000 people and then you looked at what's the makeup of their profiles, and you say, wow, I'm attracting way more women than I thought, or whatever that may be, that will actually help clue you in a little further so that you can actually advertise towards that demographic.
So, at first, a business person listening to this would be thinking, I would think, isn't this just a big insult? I mean, Facebook, talk about overreaching. They're taking my own list and they're saying, hey, pay us to advertise to the list you've already developed through our platform. Couldn't someone think of it that way?
It's totally possible, but on the other side, you make a few bucks from this and you'll have to change your perspective. But here's the thing, it's their platform, right? So we're still have to display, our ads on their platform. So, anytime you're taking up their online real estate, you're going to have to pay for it. So the cool thing is that even though it's your own list, it's no different than paying for an ad that you're targeting through their platform. And just, have that, approach that, man, we're in a really unique time in business where there are, I was fortunate to be able to sell a business because of Facebook ads. I've been fortunate to be a business coach, and all I do is I come in and I can look at somebody, I can help them make adjustments with their marketing, and almost in every single case, I can take that person, help them make a Facebook marketing funnel. So that's who's your customer, what do they need? Let's do a webinar for that. Webinar just meaning, hey, we're going to teach you something that's going to help you, right? And so we'll do a webinar, and then I'll teach them how to run ads. And if they put in 1,000, check this out for an example. Put in 1,000 like John Lee Dumas, and John Lee Dumas makes back 19,000, right? Number one podcaster selling Podcaster's Paradise. Last week, every week, he does these on Wednesdays, and I trained Valerie. She's one of my clients, and then we've worked on his account. And last week, he did 35 units from Facebook ads. So I'm hanging out with him last week, and it's like, so what's exciting for you right now? And he's like, Facebook. He's like, I love what you and Valerie are doing, right? So it's cool.
Makes a lot of sense. That's great. So explain the logic, if you know the logic, or I'm sure you at least have some speculation about it, as to why Facebook makes your ad costs lower as your click-throughs increase. Like, what would be their rationale for that? It's sort of an interesting thing to ask that high-level question.
It is really interesting. So here's the thing. Facebook will always put their end users first because without the consumers on there, Facebook can literally crumble to the next network and be a MySpace very quickly, right? So the whole thing is if they don't put their people first, the everyday people that are just that are using Facebook, then they always run that risk. So the thing is that what's interesting is that if the ads on Facebook become almost offensive, or they become too salesy or in your face or just not fun, right? It's actually going to creep people out. Like, people aren't going to feel like they want to be on Facebook. It's going to be just psychologically, it's not going to be enjoyable. Because think about marketers, right? And the in your face ads. If they know you're pregnant, if they know that you have kids, if they know that you have a disease, we know this now. We can figure this stuff out on Facebook. We can know who's got what.
It could be really tacky and annoying.
Exactly.
if they're just hounding you, for that kind of stuff. Yeah.
And to that point, they easily weed it out, because if your ads don't get clicks because people don't like them, then they're super, super expensive, very expensive. So the beauty behind it is, for advertisers, your goal is to be fun and like smiling and that's and it's cool. So it's a good win-win.
Yeah, very interesting, very interesting. Okay, so anything more about the custom audience? I think that's really the biggest innovation. When did that come out?
Well, custom audiences, we've been able to do that for maybe 7 months through the Power Editor, 7-8 months. Now the ability. Yeah, very new. The ability to be able to, pull some other information is newer, and there's this thing called Social Connect. So, what's interesting is that instead of asking for someone to opt in via email, you can actually have them click a button called Connect via Facebook, and that will automatically pull their data. So it's technically an app. And so I built a software company that had this thing called Fan Reviews. And what was nice is that everyone had to, quote, allow the app. So we were able to pull lots and lots of data. And the reason why I got acquired was because, there was $1 billion insurance company that really cared about data. And the strategy worked really well for insurance agents. So, the Facebook data is great for big business. If you're the little guy, I would just encourage you the goal in Facebook advertising is getting very clear in your ideal target market. Know exactly who they are by age, by geographic location, and you've got to know the pages that they like. So when you're advertising on Facebook, you never, ever, ever want to do broad audiences. You've got to zoom in, and you've got to choose the quote interest section. And when you're targeting on your ads, you want to make sure that your ads are targeting towards people that like a certain Facebook page. So people are always like, well, what page should I market to? And it's, who are your top 3 competitors? What are their Facebook pages? Would you want to have their customers? And if the answer is yes, perfect. Make it simple. Just target those 3 pages. And so the more narrow you can be, the better. And the beauty is that you can start on, I started on $100. That first $100, I targeted chief marketing officers. Imagine that, my first month in the business, chief marketing officers. And I end up getting a keynote speaking engagement in Hawaii, all expenses paid, and they paid me. And it was my first month. They thought I was a guru. They thought I was a big time expert. I was just getting started. But that's the perception.
Right, that's the perception because you were present a lot in those ads. So are these ads in the feed? Are they on the site? Where are the ads? And do you know how many impressions they're getting? Like, for example, one person, say the person who hired you to do that speaking gig, how many times do you think they might have seen your ad? It's this warm-up concept, right? Just like you talked about.
Absolutely. So what's interesting about the frequency is, so for chief marketing officers, and I drilled down on age and location, so it actually wasn't a very large segment. I was only marketing to about, at the time, it was about 7,000 people. So, and what happens is Facebook's platform, they won't show my ad to 7,000 people. If I only have a $100 budget, they're not going to stretch it to 7,000. Facebook's algorithm will intuitively look at your budget and say, well, this guy only has $100, so we're going to only show his ads to 1,000 people, but we're going to show it 15, 20, 30 times, right? So the frequency, what's very just interesting, to look at is you look at, your budget and how come it's not reaching all of the people I'm targeting? It's because Facebook knows they have your best interest in mind, that they're going to show it to your audience member multiple times. And what happens is that people need to see it 15, 20 times, and then they start to, some people can get annoyed by it. Some people look at it and say, man, this guy is just everywhere, and that perception, if you're, in a business like mine where you're building up, you're an expert in something or a coach, it's phenomenal because people perceive that you have authority when they see you advertising on Facebook. We've had people in the fitness niche, people in the dating and relationship niche that have, quote, come out of nowhere. They went from being the everyday person that had a passion. They maybe had a passion for, health and fitness or juicing. And then, in 90 days, they're at the top of the industry where people are asking them to be on their shows and all that good stuff.
That's amazing. And what kind of budget over the course of those 90 days? Of course it depends, I know, but just give us an example.
Yeah. I think, if someone were to come to me and say, if they were to come to me, so my whole, company with Life on Fire, here's my main mission is I want to help people love what they do for work. Now, if you're listening to this, or if you had a job that you hate, right, or you're doing something that it's not your full potential, maybe you're settling, and if I ask you the question, well, what would you do if money wasn't involved? What's your passion? And is one, picture me with my left hand out, and that's a circle. Then the other one would be, what are you good at? And then if you think, what would you do if money was no issue? Jason, you've got a whole bunch of these really cool shows. You're living your life on fire. You're enjoying what you're doing. So if we had someone that reached out and said, all right, Nick, I have no formal experience in health and fitness. However, I've been a bikini model for 10 years, and and this is a third person story. This isn't me. But let's say, they say to me, Nick,
it's okay.
But let's just say that I've been a bikini model for 15 years. I've been juicing for 12 years. I've got all this experience. I've been, helping other people. I've kind of been mentoring people in the industry, and this is what I love. Now I'm an accountant and I hate what I do for work. So I've been dying to get out and step out. And I think, coaching with you might be a good idea. I'd say, perfect. Here's what we're going to do. Take that passion, right? Now, you don't have certain credentials. You're not certified this and that. So you got to be careful. You can't make false claims or any of those types of things. However, what you can do is you can build an audience, and you can be someone that is a connector. You can be someone that positions other expertise. So in this one case, take this woman, Megan, I'm going to, help her build out a brand where she can make and distribute and sell juice. She can create a guide on how to juice. She's gorgeous, and she can be on video once a week and have a video podcast. And from that experience, once she has her show, she can reach out and get, no doubt in my mind that she could get someone like Jillian Michaels on her show. Just like you, Jason, how you've gone out and gotten Steve Forbes and these mega names because you love entrepreneurship. You love this industry. And so for that person with a passion, she can go out, and if she's got enough guts, and that's the big thing, the only thing that holds you back is your own guts and beliefs. And if she's got the guts to go out and ask, she can bring on the experts. So just like me, where I got started, I didn't know everything about Facebook advertising, but I found other people that did, right? And I figured it out. So if she sets that up, all we need to do is run some ads, get her some traffic. We got to get her name out there. So a person like that, if we're talking, get to the top of the industry and be a pretty big, name. I mean, realistically, I couldn't make any kind of expectation like that without like a $5,000 ad budget. For anyone that's getting going, could you come to me with $500 and you're hungry and you've got heart and we could set up a plan? Absolutely, because you don't always have to spend a ton of money on ads, but we'd want to spend it, make a few bucks, and reinvest it.
Yeah, awesome. Good stuff. Well, give out your website if you would and tell people where they can find you. Okay,
perfect. So my company is lifeonfire.com. So lifeonfire.com. And I'm super, super excited. We are rolling our podcast, which is Life on Fire TV. So we're on camera, and we're going to, we've got John Lee Dumas, who's one of the top podcasters. Jason, we're going to be in Scottsdale. So I'd love to have you on our show. And, but it's kind of like MTV Cribs, but we're doing interviews, we're doing Q&A, and we're also doing just really cool inspirational messages and coaching. So that's Life on Fire TV is the podcast, audio and video. And we also do this crazy thing called Pay It Forward Friday TV.com. So every Friday we run around on camera and do a random act of kindness. So it's just fun little things, but for the most part, lifeonfire.com is your resource for what you need to love your life and live a life on fire.
Hey, I love your pay it forward idea. Give us an example of some of the stuff you've done.
Oh, man.
Just one at least. It's been
crazy. Yeah, it's been crazy. All right, so the first one I did, I sat outside on the bay in a little beach chair, and the video guy was 25 feet away, and he had one of those big lenses, right? And so people are walking by, and they're not knowing what to do. Do they walk around? Some people literally turned around and walked the other way. It was hilarious, right? It was like a social experiment. Then he moved further back so that they didn't even realize he was there. And then I would spring up and be like, hey, what's going on? Here's a little gift for you. Here's 2 Starbucks gift cards. I had people that refused them. I had people that ran faster past me. I had people that were on bikes that kept riding, right? And then I had, but then I had some people that stopped and said, what's the catch? And I was like, there is no catch. I'm just doing something nice. And it's so great to catch that on camera because it's shocking, and we're not used to having something nice be done for us unexpectedly. And the cool thing is that not only is it my goal to do something nice for someone else, but the reason we give 2 gift cards, and we're always trying to inspire that person, because as soon as they get it, you literally can see the light bulb go off in their face, and then the whole thing is, can you inspire them in that moment for them to pay it forward for someone else? And what's so cool is it's been happening. So we've got all kinds of cool stories. Last week we had a compilation one where people sharing what they've done, and it's great to just do, but it changes the way your life unfolds. I mean, I don't know. I think I used to attract people that were rude because I probably had a frown on my face, and now I'm just a smiley guy, and now it's like I attract a lot of smiles. So it's just a fun way to live, and it's a cool show.
That's awesome. Good to hear. Good stuff. Well, Nick Unsworth, CEO of Life on Fire, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, man. See you guys.
This show is produced by the Hartman Media Company, all rights reserved. For distribution or publication rights and media interviews, please visit www.hartmanmedia.com or email media@hartmanmedia.com. Nothing on this show should be considered specific personal or professional advice. Please consult an appropriate tax, legal, real estate, or business professional for individualized advice. Opinions of guests are their own, and the host is acting on behalf of Platinum Properties Investor Network, Inc. exclusively.